Good morning, everybody. How are you all? We don't have any true, false, or multiple choice questions, but let's go over the midterm. It is up on Canvas. And this is our midterm. We are going to do a customer service scenario story, and we'll use chapters 1 to 6. So remember, for chapter 6, we did the problem-solving process, which is these 5 steps right here. So you're going to create a story regarding a customer service scenario. You can make it up, where you come in contact with a customer's complaint and follow the problem-solving steps that we outlined in chapter 6 to resolve it. Now, the kicker is that you need to use 2 concepts from each chapter as detailed in your story. So it can be anything that we reviewed, anything that's in the book you can use. And I put some examples here, and you're going to highlight where you put those concepts at. So your story is being told from your point of view. And at the end of your story, you're going to make a list of all the chapter concepts you use. And I put some examples here. So for example, you're telling me the story, right? You're telling me the story. Or here it says the directions. You should have 1 paragraph per step. So you're gonna have 5 paragraphs. And a paragraph is roughly 5 sentences. So try to have at least 5 sentences or more, depending on your story. And this is your list example, chapter 1. And these are some of the concepts, just suggestions, you don't have to use these. You can say, okay, for chapter 1, I use needs of a customer, I use goals, or I use the social customer. For chapter 2, I use generational differences, I use customer personalities, and I use concepts of time. So concept examples are this. You're telling me your story. The customer had a hard time understanding how to use the iPhone because he was a baby boomer. Does anybody remember what that's from? The baby boomer? Remember we talked about that? That's under generational differences. So highlighting baby boomer is an indication that you are using generational differences from chapter 2. And in your list, you're gonna put generational differences.
Okay, so you want.
Okay? So you need to highlight what it is that you used. Here's another example. I double-checked the return policy with a fellow associate. Remember, we talked about teamwork. Highlighting fellow associate is an indication of using teamwork communication from chapter 5. So then you would put chapter 5, teamwork communication. So it can be any scenario. You just have to take chapters 1 through 6 and implement it into your story. So as the examples here, a customer walked in. I was working at Target one day, a customer walked in, he had purchased a cell phone. The customer had a hard time understanding how to use the iPhone because he was a baby boomer. That's one concept right there. The concept is generational differences. The customer started explaining what the issue was, and as I listened to the customer, I determined that he had an amiable personality. What is amiable personality? The concept was customer personalities. Remember that? You can use concept of time, anything that you want to use in implementing your story, but it does have to have at least 2 concepts from each chapter. You can use whichever ones of the concepts we talked about from the book. You can use your book, that's okay.